Good. So we look at some designs and why they work. Good. So now this is the first one we're going to look at, right? We're going to analyze this using all the principles of design we have learned. Okay, good. Now let's look at the contrast involved in this. First of all, you're sure and certain, right, that this white contrasts very well with the background blue. Contrast and color work perfectly. Also, this orange used in Friday, September 12, contrasts perfectly with the background color blue, right? So contrast and color 100%. Okay, this orange here also contrasts very much with the blue, although they are still in harmony. Contrast and color 100%. Okay, good. So now let's look at alignment. Good. Let's look at alignment. Now, if you look at this design very well, realize that it aligns very well. Okay, if you draw a line on the left hand side, you can see everything seems to fall at the margin of the line. Good. If we draw another line at the right hand side, you'd see then that everything seems to fall within the margin. So alignment for this design 100%. Okay, alignment for this design 100%. Good. So what else are we looking at? Good. Let's look at balance, right? Let's look at balance. So on balance, you realize if you draw a line running through the center of this design, right, you notice that everything in this design seems to fall equally on both sides of the line. Okay, so this design is a well balanced design, right? So it's easy for your eye to consume and easily flow in this design. Okay, it's well balanced. Good. How about emphasis? Clearly you can see that the most important thing here is the light and the worship conference. Good. So it's been made the biggest and the first thing you see when you look at this design, the light and the worship conference. Then your eye goes to, then you can also see that Friday, September 12 has been given emphasis with a different color. Okay. Also, free admission has been given emphasis with a different color. Good. What next are we talking about? Hierarchy. So you notice when you come in here, the first thing your eye says is light worship conference. After that, your eye goes to Friday, September 12. After that, your eye goes to free admission. Good. So you can see hierarchy has clearly been stated in this design. What about consistency? All right, so in this design, 3 different fonts have been used, right? The first is this D here. The second is for this light conference, right? And then the third is Friday, September 12, right? 3 different fonts. The same font here is also what's used here, right? And that also was used here. Okay, right? Just varying thickness, but 3 different fonts have been used here. So consistently played. If you also notice, just the colors used here, you can see blue, white, and this orange. Okay, so 3 different colors have been used, 3 different fonts have been used, and they have been kept consistent or constant throughout the entire design. So this is an example of a good design. Good. So now let's see this other design, right? This design is very, very catchy, gets your attention. Perfect. So let's start from emphasis. As you can see, the first thing your eye catches here is the burger. Already you know this is a food design. They're telling you about food and telling you about not just any food, but fast food. Not just fast food, but burger. Very simple. That's the first thing you see, right? When your eye lands on this design. Good. How about contrast? Perfect. You see, you have red, you have black, you have white. This gray you see here is a gradient between black and white. Okay, so perfect. It works too well. Red, white, black. Okay, colors that are very contrasting. That's why this thing just catches your eye immediately. Good. How about emphasis? Emphasis, the first thing you can see in terms of emphasis, you're seeing the burger. Okay, in terms of emphasis, you're seeing the burger. After that, you can see $4, you can see order now, you can see free delivery. Okay, emphasis have already shown you these things. Okay, they have been emphasized even though they are not the biggest elements here, right? You can see also emphasis in shape. A different shape has been used here, a different shape has been used here for free delivery, a different shape has been used here for $4, and also you can see a different shape here, right? That's to emphasize each of these parts. Okay, good. So how about consistency? You could see consistency, we've been able to keep the red color the black color and the white color consistent throughout. How about fonts? We can see that just about 3 fonts have been used here, right? The font you see, the first one is this one used for Pixel Burger, okay? The second one is the one you see used for special offer, right? And then the third font is the one you see here used for free delivery. This free delivery font has been repeated here, drinks and fries, okay? This special offer font is what you see here also in order now, is what you see here in the $4. So just 3 fonts have been used in this design, okay? 3 fonts have been used in this design, so you can see consistencies here. How about alignment? If you take a look at this design, you see, right, that everything is aligned to the center, okay? Everything is aligned to the center. Also, you just draw an imaginary line through the center of this image, you see that there's a good amount of distribution between the left and the right, okay? It almost has equal weight, okay, between both sides. Your eye accepts this design as being in unity, okay? So this design is very balanced, okay? Good. So that's the reason why your eye accepts this design, right? There is good contrast, everything is well aligned, right? Emphasis has been placed on this burger. The first thing you see, that's what you see here. Emphasis also on the $4, emphasis on order now, emphasis on free. Good. Also, you can see it's a well balanced design. If you draw a line from run through the center, you see that it has equal weight on both sides, and then you can see that it has been kept, the amount of fonts and colors have been kept constant, and then hierarchy also has been established in this design. Good. So let's look at the next design, okay? In this next design, we can see contrast. Now we can see these colors contrast very well. You can see this sort of pink here, right, works very well with this blue, right? This blue and this pink, they work very well, okay? Good. So you can see, and then you can see white and this blue contrast perfectly, right? This white and blue contrast perfectly. Now the contrast between this white and this pink is not very good, okay? And what they did to make it good is they introduced a shadow, right? If you look closely at this, I want to zoom in now. If you look closely at this developing a strong worship, right, you would see, if you look close at the text, you see that there is a shadow behind it. There is a shadow, a black shadow behind it, okay? That was exactly what it did to ensure that you view this design, because the contrast between this white and this pink is not a very good one, even though the contrast between white and this blue is perfect. So what they did was they introduced a shadow behind it, okay? That's also another way of helping contrast, right? They introduced a shadow, and that created a good contrast between the two colors, okay? Good. So that's that for contrast, right? So how about alignment? You see, if we draw a line through this, right, you draw a central line, you can see that everything here has been centralized, right? Everything here is aligned clearly to the center. If you look through here, so you can see that it's almost a straight line from here straight down up. It has been aligned perfectly, okay? The alignment here is good. How about balance? Working with this straight line, let's see balance. Now let's put this header into a rectangle, and then let's put these pictures into a rectangle. Let's put these other two text into a rectangle. Good. You would see that there is equal width on both sides of this line, okay? This is a well balanced image. This is a well balanced design. There is equal weight on both sides of the design. So when you design, don't just think, oh, let it look fine. No, ensure each of these principles have been put in place, right? Don't just think, oh, let me design. Now these principles would really help you come out a great designer. Everything you see in a design is not a mistake, okay? Everything you see in a design was not just put there for nothing. They are well aligned. Now just take a look at this design now. It perfectly aligns on both sides, okay? So this was not done mistakenly. It was well thought out and planned by this designer, okay? Good. How about emphasis? You can see emphasis has been given to developing a strong worship culture in your church. which is the theme of this design. So that's why this is the header, this is the theme, this is the point of this design, and that's why this has been given the most emphasis here. Okay, also what else has been given emphasis? The dates, so you don't miss the dates, right? What else has been given emphasis? Wonderland. You can see Wonderland is also bold. The contact details are bolded. You can see the link is bold. Seminar information is bold. Okay, how else do you see contrast being played here in text? Well, now going back to contrast. Contrast in text here, you can see Saturday and 9th of June are different, right? While Saturday has been kept thin, right? 9th of June has been kept bold, right? This creates contrast and it just makes it more attractive to you, right? It helps you to read both Saturday and the 9th of June properly. Okay, good. So also here you can see the venue and the address. Okay, this is the address. The venue is Wonderland and this is the address of Wonderland, right? Contrast in text has been able to make you both read this venue, right, even though this venue is most important, and also the address on how to get there. Okay, good. So you can see balance has been established here, right? Contrast has also been established here. Good. And you can see alignment has also been established. How about consistency? Now if you notice, the same colors have been repeated, right? This pink here is what you see used in this line. Okay, this white here is what has been used to repeat, is what has been repeated throughout the design, right? White color has been repeated, blue has been repeated. Okay, you can also see, right, this pink to now this purple sort of you see here is a gradient between this pink and this blue, right? And that's why you see this purple being shown here, right? It's a gradient, or rather if you are to draw a gradient between this pink and blue, you see this purple in between, right? And that's why you see the purple being used here. Is basically a stretch of the same colors. Okay, it's basically a stretch of the same colors. Good. So, and that's why you see it being repeated here and here in the line. Okay, good. Now you can see consistency, the fonts being used, the fonts used for this strong, right? In this entire text, there are about 3 fonts being used. Okay, now the first is the font used for this strong worship, right? Strong worship, the font used for strong worship is a different font from this developing A. Developing A is a different font from this strong worship, right? And then there are different fonts from everything you see here. Saturday 9th June and every other thing you see here are one font. Everything here is one font, right? Everything here is one font, okay? And which is different from developing A. Okay, good. So 3 fonts have been used, kept constant. So you see, design is not fluke. Design is a well thought out process. Okay, good. Now I have this design here and I want to ask, what do you think about this design? Right? Now if I tell you what is the main theme of this design, you are just confused. You don't know if they mean American Patriotic Comedy Tour or Michel Soto Talamo or whatever. It's just very confusing, right? Now this is what a lot of newbie designs look like. When you can see several colors, there is no emphasis, a lot of things are emphasized at the same time, making it very confused. You are seeing several fonts being used at the same time, making it even confused. Your eye is not exactly flowing, your eye is busy, your eye is looking at too many information at the same time. And look, let me tell you something. Guess what? You can't read anything here. Do you know why? Even though this thing has been here, your eye cannot pick out anything. So now, for instance, close your eyes. Just close your eyes where you are now. Now let me ask you, pick out 5 things from this design. 5, right? Just close your eyes and pick out 5 things. 5, right? Now you can remember dinner, comedy, something. You can remember that. What else can you remember? Nothing, right? Okay, maybe the American tour. What else can you remember? Nothing. So you see, so much information. You have stared at this for more than 30 seconds, and yet you can't still pick out so much information from it. Right? Now, where you are, let's go back to that burger picture, right? Go back to that burger picture. What can you pick out from that burger picture? As it is now, you can already pick out the colors used in there, right? If I tell you what were the colors used in that burger picture, you can remember right? You remember white, black, red, right? Good. I'll still take you back to that burger picture. Just hold on with your eyes still closed. You can. What else can you remember from that burger picture? You remember, first of all, by looking at it, you know it's a food design. Why? Because of the burger there. Okay. Good. What else can you remember from that burger picture? Right? You can remember the time, or rather, you can remember the dollar amount, right? Which is what, $4. Good. Right? You can remember $4. You can remember that at that top there was free delivery or something like that at the top of the design. Right? At the bottom of the design, you can see, remember, order now. Right? That is what a good design does. Okay. Now you can virtually remember the things in that design without even having to go back to that design. But now if you're looking at this, your eye is confused. Why? Because there is a flow in design. Open your eyes, right? Now take a look at this. There's a flow in design. You can barely remember anything in this design. Now let me take you back to that burger picture so you see how far you're able to remember that. Good. You see, you're able to remember a lot of things from this design. Good. Is memorable. Okay, this design has fixed in your mind. If someone asks you to design a burger, you may just mentally copy it, even though you cannot see the design, right? Even though you cannot see this design, you just mentally want to copy this image. Okay, good. So that's why if we count, so if you look at bad designs, you will see one thing is certain in most bad designs: they use lots of colors. Let's count the amount of colors being used here. You have white, you have blue, you have red, you have this other shade of blue, right? You have black, you have green here, you have yellow, and then you have pink. Okay, then you can see so many. Okay, what else? Let's count the amount of fonts we have here. Good. You can see this Mitchell. You can see this Mitchell Soto is one font, okay, which is different from this fundraiser font. Good. Which is different from this American Tor patriotic font, okay, and that's also different from the font you have down here for the address. Okay, good. So as you can see, several fonts have been used in this design, right? Already it's not consistent. There's no consistency. How about alignment? Can you see any form of alignment being done in here? Right? No alignment. Right? If we decide to draw a thin line between this, right, in terms of balance, if we draw a thin line, you would see that if we were to put information in boxes, you would see that this header, right, would be a box, right? Good. Now, but then that thin line we draw across is going to show, right, that even though we put this in a box, there is this professional here that is not balanced on this other side with anything. Okay, if we look at this, you see that this design is just entirely, it tilts, it just confuses you. Okay, in terms of balance, this design confuses you. Okay, you're not exactly sure of the flow of the design. Good. So this is a bad design, but funny, this is how lots of newbie designs look like. Okay, this is what lots of newbie designs look like. So try as much as possible to ensure you use your principles of design when you are designing. Even if you do not know how to use Photoshop, if you use these principles when working with Microsoft Word or when working with PowerPoint, you would see that you would create amazing designs, right? Good. So now that you have learned the principles of design, I want you to know one thing, which is very important. If you go back to the rules of the Mafia Designer I gave you, you'd remember, right, that one rule is very, very important also, and that is to break the rules. Okay, good. Now let me just refresh you a little on those rules of the Mafia Designer. Now let me refresh you again on the rules of the Mafia Designer, right? The reason I'm doing this refresher is so you'd realize that design is dynamic. Good. Now you've learned a lot about the principles of design, right? You've learned the principles. Those principles are more or less like the rules guiding design, right? But then again, I've come to tell you, if you go back to the rules of the Mafia Designer, you learn that there are no rules. Okay? Good. There are no rules. So learn to be flexible. Good. Secondly, break the rules. I just told you about the principles of design. right? So you should always try as much as possible to break the rules. But as a newbie, don't break those rules until you have mastered them, right? These principles of design I've told you, right? So do not break them until you have mastered them. Okay, you have to master them. Try not to use 4 colors in your design. You are still new, right? You can see, basically looking at this screen, you can see I used 4 colors. You can see black, you can see white, you can see red, you can use yellow, right? But as a designer, try as much as possible to keep your colors, right, very minimal. In fact, try as much as possible, okay, at your very most, let it not pass 4 colors you use, right? Do not break the rules. As a newbie, for you to use 4 colors, that means black and white are included in your colors. Okay, good. That means black and white are included. That's when I would give you like permission to use 4 colors, right? But as much as possible, try to keep it within 3 colors if black and white are not included, right? If you have just white, then try to keep it within 3 colors. If you have just black, try to keep it within 3 colors. If you have black and white, then I can permit you to use as much as 4 colors, right? So don't forget, don't break the rules, right? As a newbie, especially, keep within the limits of the principles of design. Good. Now, I already told you again, break the rules. After you must have mastered those rules, then you can break those rules. Good. So, rule 1 to 3 are very important. That's why I had to go back to them. Refresher. Yes, you have learned about the principles of design. Yes, you know about the principles of design, how designs work, right? But so also keep to them as a newbie. Keep to them, but also remember that these rules can also be broken. Okay, good. So here, this is your assignment, right? The assignment I'm giving you, locate any design and the principles at play in that design and explain why it works. Okay, locate any design, right? You could snap it, you could see it on the internet, you could see it from Pinterest, you could see it from Behance, you could see it on Google Images, wherever you see it, maybe Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. Locate any design you think is a wonderful design, right? And then explain how it works. Good. You could send in as a voice note, you could send in as a mail, right? Just short paragraphs, please. I do not want to read something very long, please. So look at any design and explain why it works. Good. Now let me tell you something very important on your assignment. These assignments I'm giving you, they are not exactly for me. Good. So whether I reply to your assignments or not, ensure you do them. What is important is that you, in doing them, you are developing yourself. Okay, so whether I respond to your assignments or not, they are not important, right? They are for you, right? I'll try as much as possible to respond to the ones I can respond to, right? But remember that what's most important is that you do them and you learn. Do them and learn, right? So these are your assignments, and then with that, I'll say we've come to the end of this course on principles of design. Okay, in the next module, we're going to be talking about colors. We're going to be talking about colors, right? Trust me, you don't want to miss that. Colors, right? It's because in combining colors for your design, you don't just want to just use any colors. Since we know that we are limited to just 3 colors, or we're limited to just 4 colors, you need to know the colors to put in, the colors to use that have the most contrast. You need to know the colors you use that you can use to create hierarchy and would work in your design. The colors you use that will create emphasis, colors you use that would work together in your design. So in the next module, we'll be talking about colors. So just stay tuned and keep submitting your assignments, keep watching designs, keep learning. Okay, and for now, it's bye from me till I see you in the next video.